Wait, what?
Sorry.
There's no waiting here. I'm
Hi,
Blake.
I'm Jamie.
And we're Blamey.
Guess so.
There we go. Got it. Today we're talking, really more arguing about what the best Harry Potter book is. So we're going to give you our ranked order of the best Harry Potter books. So I guess this is the top 10 best Harry Potter books. Did you know there's 10 Harry Potter books? You probably just thought of 7.
Yeah, what did you put on there?
No. So I'm going to start at the very bottom of my list, and this is the very bottom of Harry Potter books, and it is The Cursed Child.
I agree.
I don't know if I believe that's a Harry Potter book.
I'm adding it to my list
But
right
it's
now.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and it's made by J.K. Rowling, and so I think it's canon. The worst type of canon. It was awful.
It had like cool things, like you get excited about it, and then it kept going, and you're like, this isn't cool at all.
No, it's like a reunion episode of a TV series, except everybody's like old and kind of fat and ugly, and that really doesn't help the entire situation.
Sounds like most reunions.
Yeah. So the problem is like it's a book series. It could be anything it wants. It doesn't have to be a reunion episode. Speaking of, there's the Harry Potter reunion thing on HBO. I wonder how that is.
That's like soon.
Don't worry, we'll watch it and give you a review. I'm guessing that it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because that's how those are. So The Cursed Child is it in book format, and man, was it bad. Anything redeemable about that book for you?
I mean, I don't even really remember much, so
The
probably
whole
not.
Voldemort's daughter, time turner, going back in time.
Anything time travel, you lose me. I'm gone.
The thing I love is like all of the things were destroyed except for this one. This handy little time turner here that we now have, that we can go back and she has super abilities. It was awful.
Well, it's kind of like Avengers. Like, you can, you can solve any problem with time. Like, if you have time on your hands and you can, time on your side, you can manipulate time like that.
You know, honestly, it would be much better if some sort of variant came out and was pruned there. You know, if the time travel police killed Voldemort there, it would have been awesome. I've been all in favor of that book, but Cursed Child is horrible.
Yeah.
So the next one up for me is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. This is one of the J.K. Rowling textbooks that she wrote.
You read the whole thing?
I'd read the whole thing.
I don't think I've read the whole thing.
It'll take you 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's actually, I don't know, like 20 pages. It's good, but again, not great. Then the next one I have is Quidditch Throughout the Ages. That's how I make this into a top 10 list. There's 3 extra ones here.
I haven't read that either.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I can trust your rankings.
I'll assume they're down low.
You know, they may be higher than your top book, but that's okay.
Oh, brother.
All right. So let's see if we agree on the worst of the 7 Harry Potter books. I'm going, I think, with you went number 2. I think I have number 1 there.
Really?
I can be convinced. I can be convinced of 2. So 1 has an immense novelty.
Yes.
2 just has a little bit better twists and turns, maybe there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there is an amazing thing about the magic of going into Hogwarts and that type of thing. But it's
getting his letter and finding it all out.
Sure, yes, it is awesome. But I think the turns, it's a little more grown up and interesting in the second book.
Yeah.
So I think I enjoyed the second book maybe more. Upon reread, I think I would enjoy the first book more at this point, because there wasn't a real shocking thing that happens in the first book.
Yeah.
Like even Quirrell is not shocking. It's just like, oh, okay. It's a little more shocking to see Tom Riddle and those type of things in the second book.
True, I think.
Spoilers, just in case someone out there has not read or watched Harry Potter. Giant spoilers. So, anyways.
I think maybe I'm rating this on like a reread, because if I'm gonna reread the whole series, I would read the first one.
Okay.
There's a chance I'd skip the second one and go right to the third one.
Okay.
I think that's why, like.
So I can see it. So so my lowest is the first one. Yours is the second one. Okay. So my next one is the second one.
Nice.
Right. So it's not like I'm that far off.
That's.
It just climbs there. How about you?
Now that we've talked about it, I think I'll say that my next one's the first one too.
That's funny.
It's a weird interchangeable.
Okay, all right. So my next one after that is the fifth book.
Same. And I had 5 lower than 1, but I don't think it's just because it has fun things. The Order of the Phoenix is fun. Like
Sure.
a group of kids.
It is just grumpy Harry to the max.
To the max.
And sometimes it's just not as much fun.
No.
Although it was cool to be back in that world, and the stakes were higher. It's just not as good as the other books. It's not bad. None of these books are bad.
No.
There's not as good as the others. All right. So what's next?
Next up I have 7.
Same. Same.
Okay.
So 7 is next. All right. So we're really going to disagree is in the next couple.
Yeah.
Because trivially 6th is the next one.
No.
Yeah. It is.
Next up I have 4.
No. 4 is the best.
6 is the
4
best.
is where it transitions from being a little like whimsical thing to this big kind of more epic story, and the twists and turns and the Quidditch World Cup and everything there is just much better than any other book in the series, and better than Half-Blood Prince. Half-Blood Prince is good, but it a little bit of that kind of grumpiness and stuff from 5 creeps into 6 a little bit there. And you get some interesting, I don't know, like more interesting things in there that are, you obviously have the giant spoilers, the death of Dumbledore, right? You have that type of stuff in there, but I don't know, for me it just doesn't carry the emotional weight that 4 does. Like it isn't quite there. In fact, I actually think the ending of 5 is better than a lot of it there, where you see Dumbledore and Voldemort dueling is a really cool thing, and I think that's a better ending than you get in 6.
I totally disagree with just about all of that, except that 4 is really fun. It's fun to be in the Quidditch World Cup, and it's fun to have the Triwizard Tournament. I feel like it's just like a segue book. Like, you're moving the plot, but only at the last couple chapters. Like, everything else is just fluff, and it's just like there.
As opposed to the 6th book where nothing happens except...
So much happens.
Nothing happens except at the very end where they go find a Horcrux and Dumbledore dies.
But all of
what
that
else
knowledge,
happens in there?
All of that knowledge that they're getting the whole time about all the Horcruxes and about Tom Riddle and his whole life. It's amazing. I love it all. Like, every page is so good.
So here's my question. Why didn't Dumbledore just come out and, like, tell Harry all of it? Why is it, like, the slow, meticulous putting things together? Dumbledore knew, right? So why is it not like, hey, this is where it all is. Let's go get the Horcrux. Instead, he's like, I'm just going to, like, give you little bits of it throughout this book up until the very end. And then go from there.
If I were to just tell you what happens in the new Spider-Man movie, not as cool as watching it happen, you know?
Yeah, but the fate of the world is at stake, kind of, in this situation. So, like, the difference is, like, if you tell me the Spider-Man movie, wow, that spoiled, it's not as cool. But if, like, I needed to know the fate of the Spider-Man movie to stop the person from killing me, seems reasonable to jump to that.
Cool. You get to know all these characters. You, like, feel all of it.
Feel, like, what are you feeling here? What characters are we talking about?
Like his sister, what's her name? Gaunt, the Gaunt girl.
Yes.
Like, all those characters, they're awesome, and it's cool to get to know them. And the Parseltongue stuff, and the everything. I loved all of it.
Like, you're getting more of Voldemort's backstory. That is true. But I just don't think it's as compelling. And I guess maybe the interesting thing, and it comes back to that first and second book for me, I like the twist. The twist in 4 is awesome, right? And how it all fits together, and you've had these stories, you know, Voldemort's doing things, killing people, the Barty Crouch stuff, like all of that, all coming together. In 6, you kind of have none of that. It's a lot more straightforward.
It is, but then you have, like, the Mystery of Malfoy and what's he up to.
No, like, the interesting thing is Dumbledore basically, like, brushes Malfoy off. Or it's like no one's really concerned about Malfoy. Like,
Poor Malfoy.
Voldemort didn't actually think Malfoy was going to succeed, right? It was all... Malfoy's mother didn't think Malfoy was going to succeed, right? So, like, you never expected that. Even the big payoff of who is the Half-Blood Prince is kind of like, meh. Like,
I thought it was awesome.
Well, and I think maybe it comes back to how you feel about Snape. Like, I think Snape is an awful person and an awful character, and there's not much redeeming in there. He was self-centered, self-serving, and just happened. Yeah, he's just not a good person through the entire thing. It just doesn't. And the only real thing you kind of get is this pensive look into Snape and his life and how horrible Harry Potter's dad was, which is also kind of sucky because you kind of demonize him there to try and make Snape look better, but Snape's awful.
That doesn't even happen in the 6th. That all happens in the 7th.
No, because it's in.
Is there some of that in the 6th?
It's because he's viewing a pensive, right? There's no viewing of a pensive in 7.
At the end.
Like at the very end, but all of this is long before. This is.
But Voldemort or Dumbledore's not showing Harry all of Snape's stuff. Dumbledore's showing Harry all of Tom Riddle's stuff.
Yes, but where does he get the memory of seeing Snape getting flipped upside down by the Marauders?
I think he falls into Snape's thing, and Snape gets really angry at him.
In the 6th book.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
It has to be.
Yeah, right. So,
okay.
Like again, 6 isn't bad. 6 is the 3rd best Harry Potter book.
I just loved it.
So the funny thing is, we agree the 2nd best Harry Potter book is The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah, that is funny that we just have those so swapped.
Yeah, it is funny.
3
4 and 6
is really good.
3 is fantastic, and maybe it is. I just like the twists. 3 has a great payoff with that.
Yeah,
and then the twists and everything coming together is excellent.
Totally
does really well.
I like all the new characters introduced.
Yeah, me too. It's fantastic. Anyways, so there's your definitive top 10 Harry Potter list.
So definitive.
Number 1 is the Goblet of Fire. Undebatable. You're holding up 2 extra fingers. That's how many times you should like this episode. Like and subscribe.
See ya.
Bye.